So my name's Nicola Steel. I'm the founder of JJP Talent Solutions here in Brisbane. JJP is an IT recruitment business, and we are celebrating our fourth birthday in next Tuesday, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Sally. And believe it or not, I must have been a child when this happened. But I will be I have celebrated my 23rd year in recruitment this month, which is quite astounding and makes me feel rather old, if I'm honest with you. So thank you very much for joining me. I've also got my team here as well, Jenny and Christina, and also Lauren. Lauren McCready joined very recently, and she will be in contact with you at some point next week as well to get your feedback and find out if she can help you at all. Thank you, Malcolm. Now, a lot of the session today is going to focus on Sally. Sally Watson here. Hello, Sally.
Hello.
Hi. Sally is a career and leadership coach. She's also got a background in recruitment in the past as well. And she's the founder of Career should be able to say that, Career Creators. And I'm going to really hand over the baton to Sally and let her lead this conversation and take things from there. And if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat box. And Sally is very good at being interactive. So I can ask her those questions rather than wait until the very end. So you're not just waiting eagerly to ask that question there. I'll just let that last person in. And Sally, I shall hand over to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nicola, for inviting me on. I'm really privileged to come in and facilitate and host this session today, and in collaboration with you. I'm sure there'll be plenty of points that you'll be able to add in with your amazing 23 years expertise, I think you said. So yeah, that would be awesome. And as Nicola said, you know, I personally love these things to be interactive. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think you want to just hear my voice for the next 55 minutes. So, you know, it can be a bit tricky, everyone coming off mute. So definitely pop any questions in the chat, or just things that you're loving or that you're learning. If you're wanting to make any comments, that would be great. I normally say to people, if you've got a question, put a Q and then put your question, just so Nicola will keep an eye on that chat box and can clearly see if there's a question she can jump in and ask as we're going. So thank you all for being here as well. It's great to see your faces all on the screen, and we might have a few that are off screen there as well. I know might be on lunch breaks and whatnot, so that is all good. So great to see that most people are from Brisbane, a few people international as well. Like, how amazing is the technology these days that we get to do these sorts of things and connect and use this as a networking opportunity as well. Like, if you're seeing someone that's in a similar field to you and reaching out to them on LinkedIn, or someone that you're just resonating with from what they're sharing or asking, I think it's great opportunities. So I've got
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Nicola. I've got a couple of slides there. Has that come up? Has that shared on this one here?
Yes, it's there.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. So Nicola put some polls up on LinkedIn to really ask what people were looking for help with. So that's where I really created this content today, because one thing that, whether it was you guys that are on here today were wanting help with, was really getting clarity on your career goals. So that's going to be the main focus, is this helping you guys and giving you a bit of an oversight of what I do with my clients. Because as I am a career coach, that's the main thing I help a lot of people with when they're at that career crossroads and wanting some clarity, wanting some direction, or quite often it is confidence that they're needing as well. There might be some fears or imposter syndrome or different things getting in their way from really going forward for what they're wanting. So I'll talk to that a little bit in a second as well. So we only have an hour or 50 minutes left now, so I can't cover everything. You know, I do work with my clients over 3, 6, 9 months to cover a lot of the work that I do. So I'll be giving you guys a high level overview, and I've picked one exercise to help you guys, just to get a taste of some of the work that we do with our clients that's going to help you in your career, and getting clarity on what really matters to you and what's important to you. Cool. So I'd love to check in and really just get everyone to comment in the chat box what brought you here today. So which one of these is really resonating with you? Is it A, you're at a crossroads and you're looking for a new direction in your career? Is it B, transitioning your career, so you're just looking for a change in a similar field and you're wanting to put your best foot forward? Is it C, that you're wanting to progress your career? You know, you're wanting to look to further your career and step up? Or is it D, always looking to learn and improve myself? If you want to let me know, Nicola, what's happening in the chat, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to comment myself. So we have got quite a lot of C's and D's, people at crossroads, an A, a couple of A's. The majority are C and D. There's a B there about transitioning career, another B. So it's actually a really diverse mix, Sally.
What?
So that should give you a challenge, lots to cover.
Love it.
So across workroads and looking to learn and improve. So a real mixture of different responses there.
Yeah, great. And it's really good for you guys to, you know, reflect and think, well, what has brought me here? What am I looking for? So these questions not only help us to get a feel for where you're at, but it's good for you to reflect as well, because reflection is a really key part of looking at our past, really getting aware of where we are right now and what's going on for us to help us make decisions moving forward in our career. Okay, so just a quick bit about me. This is Katie is my team member as well. So we're two coaches that work for career creators, and we really help ambitious professionals who are feeling unfulfilled in their career, or a little bit just stagnant, or a little bit blah, and just kind of lost their mojo, or not feeling motivated to go to work. So some of the things that we help them with is overcoming that self-doubt that can be getting in their way or stopping them. If you're familiar with that term of imposter syndrome, that's a really common one that we help people with, to help them gain clarity and confidence and really unlock their potential, really realize what their strengths are, what their genius zone is, so that they can create a career that does fulfill them and does light them up. You know, I think we all know, and I think, you know, it's a true sign of you guys being here that your career is important to you, and you don't want to spend 38, 40 hours a week doing something that makes you miserable. Can everyone relate? If I can just like get a thumbs up or a yes, is that something that you guys are wanting? Is your career important to you? I've only got I can't see everyone on there.
Yes. There's lots of Y's, agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you've got a lot of agreement there, Sally.
Oh, thanks.
Mark has got a sore neck from nodding, apparently. So yes, you've got lots of agreement.
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone's probably getting sick of, you know, seeing the posts about this great resignation and things that's coming through. But it is a trend that we're noticing. I'm not sure about you, Nicola, if you've seen this trend as well, but a lot of people have just kind of had enough of not only COVID and this pandemic, but I think they've just had enough, and it gets them to stop and reflect and think, well, I want to be happy in my life and in my career, and our career is a big part of our life. So, you know, I can definitely see that trend happening where people are wanting to make sure that they're in alignment in their career and what they're doing to have that fulfillment.
Do you know, that's really interesting, Sally, about the Great Resignation, and that term's bandied around so much that I'm sure people are probably falling asleep. But
Yeah.
I have not seen it as much here in Brisbane as the UK, which obviously I'm from, or you hear about it in the US. But I think as we get more into 2020, probably the end of this quarter, going into next quarter, we probably will see it more here. And this is a really good opportunity to have that time to reflect with you as well about where you want to be after what is a really difficult 2 years for everybody, both in terms of personal and professional life. But I'll be quiet and let you continue because I know we're pushed for time.
Yeah, absolutely. But I agree with you. I think we tend to be, 6 to 12 months behind the UK and the US, and it is coming. And we've noticed, more inquiries coming through over the last 12 to 18 months, really, of people just wanting to get that clarity, wanting to have a change from what they've been doing. They've been going down one particular career path and wanting to diversify. So we've noticed that as well. And so my journey in particular, I was one of them kids, I think, for most of my, teens and young adult. It was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think we're getting asked that from age 5. And I even noticed with my young kids that they start getting asked that at preschool as young as sort of 3 and 4. And it's all of this pressure that we have to have an answer and we have to want to know what I want to be when I grow up. And I know a lot of people that are halfway through their career and they say, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Can anyone relate there that they don't know what they want to be when they grow up? Because I find that there can be some people that they absolutely know and they've always known and they follow that path, or some people are still finding that and learning that. So that was my journey. And I didn't know what I wanted to be when I finished year 12, and I literally went to uni because like my mum and sister were like, well, you got in, why don't you go? And I just felt that I should go and should do that. So I just kind of read through the book and picked something that I thought was interesting and never really used my uni degree again. I know that's not everyone. I know that, these hard technical skills from university can really set us up for our career. But I also know a lot of people resonate with just doing a career because they thought they should, or someone else has suggested that to them. So that's when, after I had my children, is when I came to a really crossroads in my career and started to reflect and think, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? And that's when I started getting into my coaching journey and studying life coaching. So now I have gotten into career coaching to help other people work out what they want to do, or simply just utilizing my life coaching qualifications and marrying that together with my recruitment and HR career that I worked in for a decade. So that's where, I've got there, what is career coaching? Well, it can be a little bit like a career therapist and also a career strategist. So a lot of people, I throw that therapist term in there because a lot of people can have some fears or limitations that they're putting on themselves, or they've had some bad experiences in the workplace. So we want to ensure that we want to clear any of those blocks and really look at our mindset and then look at our strategy moving forward. So that's really what we do over here in our team, is really looking at those two areas of mindset and strategy.
And that mindset is so important.
Absolutely. So on that, I would love to check in with everyone here. Another question, just to hear from the audience, what has been holding you back in your career? Is it that you've been feeling a little bit stuck? I know definitely over that Christmas holiday period, people were coming back and feeling a bit sort of unmotivated or lost that clarity. Is it that you're feeling overwhelmed and you just don't know where to start? Or C, lacking confidence, or you've had a knock to your confidence. A lot of people were like, I used to be really confident and I don't know why, but I feel like I just had a knock to my confidence. Or that self-doubt creeping in, that imposter syndrome of not feeling like you're good enough to do what you're currently doing, or feeling like a fraud. A lot of people relate with that. They get lots of positive feedback and they appear to be doing really well and they think, well, I don't think I'm doing really well.
So I'm looking at the poll here. We've got a lot of A's, and I don't know whether that's post-Christmas syndrome or whether that's more of a general aspect. Mark's got A, C and D. So you're in a good place there, Mark. Ben, C and D, lacking confidence and imposter syndrome. Mike, A and B, clarity and overwhelm. Kim as well. Lauren, stuck and self-doubt. Kimo's the same. Beak is similar to Ben with confidence and imposter syndrome, another imposter syndrome. Another bit of C, bit of D from Ian. Donnie's got a real mix there. So you've got a lot of A's. It's the clarity piece. And then quite a lot of confidence and imposter syndrome. So a real mix.
A mix again.
But A seems to be making an appearance a lot as a response.
And I guess what I'd love to point out there for all of you is that you're not alone. Like looking at how many other people are resonating with these areas that are holding them back. And, you know, as human beings, we're hardwired to have fear come up for us, because a lot of these things can really, if you pull back the onion layers and dig deep enough, it can come down to an underlying fear, which is a really natural response for us as humans, especially having to put ourselves out there or sell ourselves or go for an interview. That fear can come up and show up in different ways, show up as self-doubt, as imposter syndrome, show up as low confidence or overwhelm or feeling stuck.
I saw a brilliant image today, I think it was on LinkedIn actually, about the fear that we have in our head. And it was, there was an image of a great big shark-infested pool. But then the image of reality was just a little puddle with nothing in it, and but for our fears, over exaggerate and compound and all that kind of aspect. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one thing that I've learned throughout my studies and my journey, and you know, you guys may be aware of this as well, but you know, we can't get rid of that fear, because at the end of the day it keeps us alive. We need to have a little bit of fear, so we're not going to jump off a cliff or think we can, you know, do something outrageous that's going to put our life to risk. So we have it's kind of like a red alert in our brain that it's like fear, you know, safety, be careful. It's like going back to caveman days. It's what kept the human race alive, is that fear. And you see that the thing is that the brain doesn't know the difference between a threat to life or a threat to our ego. So that's where that fear can come in, and it can be a threat to our ego. Because absolutely. I don't know about you, Nicola, but I haven't ever seen anyone die from an interview.
Absolutely not. And to be honest with you, Sally, I am petrified of everything. Absolutely everything, but I do it anyway. But I think everybody has fear.
Yes, feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm hearing from you, Nicola.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Yeah. And looking at all of those comments coming through, that everyone's relating to one of these different areas here. So you're not alone, and it's really normal for these to come up, and then it's looking at ways to overcome that.
Definitely.
So I just thought I'd give a bit of an overview of the signature system that at Career Creators we go through with our clients to help them, so that you guys have got this high level overview of these 5 C's and these 5 key areas to focus on, to really like develop your long-term career management plan. So we start with number 1, which is getting that clarity. And I'll go into that a little bit in the next couple of slides. And then we look at number 2, which is like, okay, we're clear on where we want to go. Now, how do we create that? Let's sort of work out the milestones and the plan. Like, let's think long term to 10, 20 years where we want to be, and work that backwards, and look at what steps we need to take, and all the things we need to be doing. And then we normally find people are like, okay, I know what I want to do and I've set the plan, and then that fear comes in and we need to start working on building that confidence to overcome those fears and really go forward with the plan. Number 4 is, what can I do now? So this one's really action, and I just wanted to find another C. So what can I do? What action can I take? So it's all well and good, you've got your goal, you've got the plan, you've got all the confidence in the world, but you've got to start taking the steps. So it's taking the action to start moving you towards where you're wanting to go. And number 5 is around connect. And I'm sure you would agree with this one, Nicola, that the importance of, building our connections and our networks with people.
Absolutely.
I try and stay clear of that word networking, because I think people just cringe when they hear it.
Networking can feel a bit sleazy, handing out business cards and very much you're on the take, whereas connecting is much more give, win-win, kind of aspect.
Love it. And it's so important, like I'm sure we've all heard, your network is your net worth. So, and, I'd love to even just check in with everyone in the room. Have you ever had an opportunity come to you through somebody you know? So if you think of your career over however many years, or even if it wasn't a career, another kind of opportunity in your life, and just give us a why in the chat box if you've ever had an opportunity come to you through somebody you know.
Yes, very often. Yes. Yes, there's no no's there, Sally. Lots of yeses. Absolutely.
Yeah. And those connections that you could be making are also with recruiters like Nicola.
Absolutely. Well, that's my job really, is to make those connections. If I'm not doing it, I'm not really doing my job properly. Absolutely, those connections are so important. And even this forum, we've got 32 people here. If people resonate, you can be connecting with them as well. Not in that creepy, what I was saying about handing out business cards, but if that communication's there. Only through professional recruitment. Thanks, Ian. I know Ian.
Love
excellent. It. That's fantastic.
All right. So that was just the high level overview, and under those 5, like, we really do a lot of work under those 5 pillars throughout our programs and the work that we do with our clients. So as in the poll on Nicola's LinkedIn post, it was around getting career goals. So I just thought I'd touch on that one a little bit further. So how to gain the clarity. And I've just shared a little quote in there. To know what you want, you must first know yourself. So if you think about knowing what you want to do or what you want to be when you grow up, or what job you want even just next, if you're looking, you really need to know yourself. And, we might all think that we know ourselves, but we're always growing and evolving as well. And we have conscious awareness of ourselves, and we also have our unconscious behaviour patterns as well. And that's some of the work that we do, is really uncovering your unconscious behaviour patterns, and we do that through some behavioural profiling to help you to see, how you're performing under stresses and pressure, and if these unconscious behaviour patterns are really helping and serving you, going for interviews or going for networking conversations, or generally within your career. So next up here, I've just got a bit of a high-level overview of different ways that you can start to get to know yourself on a deeper level. So I've got start with self-discovery, knowing what your values are and both your values in your life, like your personal values, and then we have career values as well.
Sorry, Sally. I
Yeah,
was
jump
just going to
in.
say that over the last couple of years, when I'm talking to candidates, one of the things that a lot of particularly software developers talk about is that the company that they're going to join, it does sit within their values, and that's really important to them, about having that purpose and everything. And I think COVID to a certain extent has created that as well, but having that really deep understanding of what's important to you is so important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because at the end of the day, that's what your values are what you value in life and what you value in your career. And I wonder, Nicola, because I do hear people say, oh yes, that company is really aligned with my values. And then have you ever asked them, oh, what are your values? And
Absolutely.
Are they able to answer that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And I think, the values aspect is so important, and having that alignment. Yeah. And actually, you understanding yours and the companies actually understanding theirs as well. It's not just a few things written on the wall to look at every now and again.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with values. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we can have values that we say are our values, and then we can have our actual values. So our actual values are, show up in our life. And to get a quick glimpse of your personal values, you just have to have a look around and see, what are you spending your time, your money, and your energy on? Because they're the important things in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending your time, your money, and your energy on them.
Absolutely. The big rocks kind of aspect. You know how you have your big rocks, your family, and everything else fits in around it.
Love it.
Sorry, I'm just going to check the chat box. Internal chat box, words of encouragement going on, which is fabulous. Good work, Alexis.
Great. Yeah, so a couple of those other points of really getting to know yourself, know what drives you and what motivates you. What motivates you in the workplace and in your career, because that's what's going to get you out of bed and excited to go to work. What lights you up? What really excites you? If you think of your career, the role that you're in at the moment, what are you doing when you're most engaged? So if you've got a pen and paper, I'd write that question down, and if nothing comes up for you right now, start thinking about it and start noticing. When are my lights on? Thinking, like, I actually think of that in my head, like, oh, my lights are on. I'm really engaged in what I'm doing. And I'm like, when an hour passes and it only felt like 10 minutes. Yes. That's when you're engaged.
When you're in flow kind of aspect, and it just comes easily and naturally and what have you.
Yeah. And then what dims your light is the opposite to that. When you're doing something and it's only been 10 minutes and it actually feels like it's been an hour. That's when your lights are off, because you're not engaged in what you're doing. So that's one way of doing a skills audit. What am I doing when I'm engaged, and what am I doing when I'm not engaged? And even like going through your resume for yourself, like, this isn't for your employer, but going through your resume for yourself and just kind of looking at all the things that you do and like putting a tick or a cross next to them to really see, how much of my job do I enjoy? And like 75%, I have read some statistics, this is a really good benchmark. If you enjoy 75% of your job, the statistic is that you're meant to be 3 times more happier and fulfilled in your career. I guess it's leaving that 25% that there's going to be sometimes things you need to do that you don't like. So that's a study I've read anyway.
Absolutely. And it's never going to be 100% perfect, because that would be, it's really unlikely, but having that 75% would be great.
Yeah, awesome. Loving the comments coming through there as well, everyone. Ben says that's an interesting statistic. So who here is going to go away and do a skills audit and really get clear on what does light them up and dims their light? Just pop a Y into the chat for yes to get your commitment. Because I'm giving you tools now that you can do. Then, you go back, if this webinar finishes and you go back to the office and, it can all go out the window. So making some action items for yourself of what you're going to do. It's a little bit like, having a personal trainer to keep you accountable for doing these things, because we all know how to lose weight. You eat less and exercise, but does everyone do it? No. So it's making these commitments to yourself and following through is where you're going to get the growth and the results.
I don't think Mark's going to thank, but Mark's manager's going to thank you because he's doing his skills audit at 4:30 and he's quitting at 5. You don't need to be rash, Mark. But...
it's only tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Nicola, you're going to have the phone ready after this.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be needing some jobs.
Absolutely. But I think as well, making a list of what about your current role, what you really enjoy and what, as you say, doesn't light you up, doesn't excite you, is a real drag when you've got to do it. So personally for me, admin, oh my goodness, that ain't my bag, but it has to be done, otherwise it would be chaos. So like I said, you can't enjoy absolutely everything, but you can...
then having clarity on that though, Nicola, that's the first thing that you can pass over, when the opportunity presents.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I've got Jenny very much helping me, which I think Jenny's here. But anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting
you. All good. So I won't go through all of these because you can see them all there, but knowing what your strengths are, how do you make decisions as well? Because at the end of the day, our life and our career is a series of decisions. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard that quote as well, successful people make decisions quickly and change their mind slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change their mind quickly. So looking at what's your decision-making strategy and how can you start making quicker decisions, because otherwise time can pass you by and you miss out. You miss out on opportunities. Yeah. So knowing your natural energy style, what gives you energy, drains your energy, that's another thing we do through behavioural profiling. If anyone's ever done DISC behavioural profiling, we do that with a lot of our clients. And just asking yourself, that's not a typo with a double word really, really there. It's asking yourself, what do I really, really want? And asking yourself those questions, and then getting clear on what is holding you back is also going to help you to then see how you can overcome that.
Definitely.
So extending on that decision-making piece, I love this quote: more is lost by indecision than wrong decision. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. It will steal you blind. So being stuck or being an indecision is a choice as well. So, and a lot of people just have this fear of making the wrong decision, whereas really more is lost by not making any decision.
I always remember, Sally, my late father-in-law said to me, you only ever really regret what you don't do. And I think that's so powerful and true, and about making decisions and moving forward.
Yeah.
So
there's a study on that as well, Nicola, to say that they've asked people that have been on their deathbed, like there's research around that, and they say exactly that you're never going to regret the things that you did do, only the things that you didn't do. So I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
All right, so I did want to jump and do an activity for you guys to get some clarity on your career values. So let me know if that would be valuable. Type a yes, because I need to get sort of feedback from you guys if we're on the right track, because otherwise we could talk about something else.
Yes, yes, yes. Will be insightful. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So grab your pen and paper. I hope everyone's got a pen and paper, and you're just going to have a blank page. If you've got different color pens, that's great as well. And just do a circle like we've got here on the slide, write my career. And now we're going to just brainstorm. Well, you're going to brainstorm for yourself. And so I'll just keep going. I'll go through these questions. There's 3 questions I'm going to ask you. So the first one is, in the context of your career, what is important to you? And now I just want you to write down all the things that come up. And if we just give them maybe 60 seconds or so, Nicola.
Okay, what time is it now? Okay, awesome. And shall we have a guinea pig? Would anyone be a guinea pig to say what their values are? If you are, say in the chat box.
And feel free to do this for you as well, Nicola. I know I've done this for myself.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, and same with your team members, because the next couple of questions will start to give you a bit of a reality check. Loving what's coming through the chat box. So people that are happy to share what's, when it comes to their career, what is important to them, feel free to share in the chat box, and that's going to inspire other people as well. Kim's just popped in there, impact on society, self-improvement. So you can steal each other's if it resonates with you.
Absolutely. And this is something I've done quite a lot of work on myself personally, both me personally and professionally. So, for example, I've got connecting people. I love that. I'm always connecting people. I can't even go to the coffee shop without going, oh my goodness, you should meet so-and-so, so-and-so. You'd love doing that and all that kind of thing. Making a positive impact, like Kim just said, I think. Compassion, somebody else mentioned that.
Yeah.
Empathy, learning, and also freedom. Freedom is, for me, my North Star, that I have to have freedom, otherwise I just feel really stuck. And that's really important. Demetra's kind of similar, flexibility, equality, compassion. So flexibility, freedom, similar thing. Should increase on salary with more experience, improved skills. So
awesome.
Using skills, adding value. Sorry, it's flicking through quite quickly.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing, everyone.
That's fantastic. And there's quite, if you look at them, there's a lot of similarities that people have that are important to them.
Yeah. So I'll jump to the next question. So you'll have like these, if you've got a different color pen, you can use it, but if not, it really doesn't matter. So looking at everything you've got down on your paper for your values, if all of those things were not present in your career, what would make you stay anyway?
Can I just say one that Kimo wrote, which I really liked, which I'd add to mine? Fun. He wants fun, which I think is fabulous, that life shouldn't be dull and boring. So, so that's good.
So I'll type this question into the chat box if anyone needs it. So it's question 2. If all of those things were not present in your career, what would make you stay anyway? So it's a way to really see what is important to you. So something that might come up is the people that you're working with, because you have really great team there, and that's what's keeping you in your current job.
So there's a great one here about solving problems to assist others, and also relationships with others in the team, learning new skills. pursuit of technical excellence, teamwork, impact, balance, trust, job security, relationships, camaraderie. So a lot of it's relationship driven. So it seems very much about the people you work with or the impact that you're having on people through the problem solving that you're doing. Nothing. All right, Mark.
That's serious because the values I've listed down, if I don't get
right, okay,
quality in each of those, well, I guess, I'm not in the right company was what else.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And what the questions are doing is just helping you to dig deeper from anything you missed from the first question. And knowing that there might be some that, the first question you may not have put salary, and then it's like, well, then you reflect and you think, well, if I'm getting really good money, that's going to keep me. So it is actually telling you that money is important to you, which is totally okay, but it just may not have come to you first of all, if that makes sense. So I'll jump to question 3. So looking at your piece of paper and looking at everything that you've got down on the page, and knowing that there could be some really positive ones and there could be some negative ones as well. So if everything was there in your career, is there anything that would make you leave?
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about what that would be and then adding that to your page. And knowing that this is just a big brainstorm. There's no right or wrong. It's just getting it all out for you.
I'll be interested to see the response here. The opportunities, better opportunities.
So JM, then that could be saying that career progression is important to you if a new opportunity is something that would make you leave.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
New knowledge, better opportunities, career advancements. Money is only important to your needs are met. Extra money starts to diminish in value, which is really true, that there's lots of studies on that. And also the taxman gets quite a lot of it, isn't it? The higher you get. Curiosity, love it, Kimo. Exciting challenges, career progression. Relocation, retirement, workload that starts to impact your health, mental health. That's a really good point. Impacts your confidence. Yes.
Yeah.
So kind of burnout aspect.
So that would be telling me, Donnie, that, mental well-being or mental health is an important value for you.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So you've got those questions there. You can continue to reflect on these. The next part of it is, and we won't spend time doing this, this will be like your home play to extend a little bit further, is choose your top 5 that really resonate with you for 2022. So choosing your top 5 from that big brainstorm that you've done. And these are your career values. It's not your life personal values. These are what's important to you in your career, so that when you're looking at any opportunities that might be presented to you, it's like, well, is this really what I want? And once you've chosen your top 5 values that really resonate with you and feel in alignment with you, asking yourself, how do I know that I'm living my values? So this is that test, like a lot of people say with companies, they say that's their values written on the wall, but are they really living them? So this is the same for you. You could say that, career progression is your value, but then how are you living it? Are you looking at ways that you're improving on yourself personally and professionally? Are you reading, books to help you progress, or are you speaking to people? So how do you know that you're living that value? And extending on that even further is, creating little rules for each value so that you've got that reminder. So for you, Nicola, freedom is important to you. So every time that you get to change your calendar around or block out a Friday afternoon off, that could be like a signal to you, I'm living my value of freedom because I get to choose my calendar.
Absolutely. I'd tell you, I had to make a decision last week about something that on paper seemed like a very good decision, but it didn't align with all my values. And when I made a decision not to do it, I could feel this lightness, this weight from my shoulders, having made the decision. And because it was aligned with my values, I think that lightness was created because it was right.
Love that.
So
awesome. Well, I'll keep moving along because we're running out of time and we're not going to get through everything.
I know, it's 10 to.
So moving into soft skills, because I'm sure everyone can agree the amount of articles and things that they see on LinkedIn or hear from employers and recruiters that the most common traits that people are looking for to get the job is soft skills. And I love this quote from the famous Jim Rohn, who says, if you want to be wealthy and happy, learn this lesson well. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that one. So if you're working on growing yourself personally and professionally, then, I think it's just going to follow through and have that ripple effect in your life and in your job.
And soft skills are so important. You can have all the technical skills in the world. Oh, you've got your slide here. But if you don't have the soft skills, it's going to really hold you back. And also think some of the soft skills that you've gained about how transferable they are going into a new role for people that are at the starts of their careers or they're wanting to change careers, and how they can use that. So
I thought I'd put this slide up here because we hear it so often. Oh, we want soft skills, we want interpersonal skills. And it's like, well, what is that? What do they actually mean? It's like, I've got a degree, I've gone to uni, I've got all the experience, and I'm still not getting a job. So I've just got this little breakdown, like our hard skills, like I like to think of that as your professional development, and then your soft skills as your personal development. So we could get those hard skills, like your technical skills from, doing an engineering degree or whatever that, getting that qualification. And then we get those soft skills from doing the work on ourselves and being really clear on who we are, knowing our strengths, developing our communication skills. I've got that difference there as well. So we've got learned skills. Really, your hard skills, anyone can go and learn that. I did used to hear a few years ago that you can't learn soft skills, but I think that's BS, to be honest. I think you can learn soft skills. You've just got to, some people have to work harder at it than others. So it's looking at, your this last point here, what you know is really your hard skills, like the knowledge that you have. And then you've got your soft skills as your behaviors, so really how you act.
And I think the hard skills will get you into the interview. It's the soft skills that will get you the job offer. So and keep you there as well, and have a longer career.
Keep you progressing for those people that were wanting to progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on the communication skills, there's that interesting stat that it's 7% of what you actually say, the actual words themselves, 38% the tone that you use, and 55% the body language, which is a pretty huge stat that over half of what you're saying is about how you're actually saying it through your body language.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that's the one on that point I've got there for your energy and your presence. I think that's a great way to think of that, because I've heard that as well, Nicola, of what makes up communication. And you know, when I worked in recruitment, the amount of times I'd hear people say, I want communication skills, and I don't know about you, but every single person has on their CV that they've got good communication skills. Everyone's going to say they've got it. And then it's really, well, again, what do you mean? What is communication skills? Because it's not just the words that we say. And going into that interview, people can be preparing for that interview and be like, oh, I've just got to say the right thing. And well, really, do you? Because that only makes up 7% of what you're communicating.
Obviously, you've got to know what you're talking about, but it is the way that you say it and the way that you present yourself. And also make sure you ask lots of questions as well to show interest there.
Yeah. So if you think about that, it's like, of course, you've got to know what you're talking about. But if you're saying it in a tone and a body language that is closed off or turning away and in a really boring tone, then they're not going to hear it anyway. They're going to be tuned out. So it doesn't matter what you're saying.
Absolutely. So Alexis has made a really great point. Your qualities and skills are what make you unique. And that's so, people are unique. You are unique. What are the unique skills and qualities can you bring to the table, which is so important?
Absolutely, because there's no other Nicola in the world. You know, there's no other JN, no other Lauren. Like, we might have similar skills or we might have similarities, but it's that unique combination that makes you you. And that's what people are wanting to see in the interview. Definitely. So I love that point, Alexis. Yeah. Okay, so I've got here, further extending on soft skills. How do I work on myself? Because we keep hearing these soft skills, but then we don't hear, well, how do I do that? So I've got a couple of tips and points there as well, which is, you know, extending on back on what I talked about earlier, getting to know yourself deeply, but then not just getting to know yourself, it's getting to know like others, understanding human behavior, how you're unique and different to other people, and that we are all different and we operate differently. So if we can understand other people, that's going to help us to build relationships, navigate conflict in the office as well. So learning about human behavior and how to engage with people. You know, reading those personal developments. Sorry, Nicola, you go.
I was just going to say as well, sometimes we can have a misconception about ourselves. So how we engage with people, ask your partner, ask your friends, what are your qualities and all that kind of aspects. And you might be pleasantly surprised that you kind of overlook them and how valuable they are actually to your uniqueness.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a really good point, and that's something I would always hear from employers as well. A part of that soft skills is the self-awareness. Self-awareness of how you're coming across, because there could be two ends of the coin. There could be someone that thinks they're really engaging with people and got those soft skills, but they actually don't. Or someone could be really great at it and you're being really hard on yourself and you're not giving yourself the credit where credit's due.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I've got there, get yourself out there. Like, the best way to learn is to throw yourself in the deep end. You know, throw yourself in there, get out there connecting with people and even giving yourself some feedback. Like, oh, I was really nervous, but I did it anyway. And next time you're going to improve. You know, becoming aware of what those fears are for you, because it can be those fears that stop you going to a particular event where you could be meeting people. Looking at what your limiting beliefs are, your core beliefs. There could be some that are limiting you from what you could be achieving. Challenging yourself, so just stepping out of your comfort zone, and obviously, you know, getting a coach or a mentor, all that feedback, like Nicola said, getting someone, being open to receiving feedback, because it's going to help you to improve.
Absolutely. And one of the skills quite often that clients will look for is somebody who is coachable and is willing to take on feedback.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be the finished product, but if you've got that ability to learn and adapt and listen, etc.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
So true, Christina. Hire for attitude, train for skills. Fantastic.
Awesome. So I know we're running out of time, and I knew I wouldn't get enough
We've
time
got 2 minutes.
over interviews. So, you know, I think the best just tidbit for interviews is what we've already covered, developing those soft skills. Exactly what Nicola said. The hard skills will get you to the interview. The soft skills will get you the job.
And that's so true, Sally. And there were a few people that were wanting some interview skills. And last year, I'll have to look when the next one is, doing an Ask Nicola event, and sometimes it's about CVs, sometimes about interviews. So I could do the next one in February about interviews, and I'll get Jenny to send the details out to everybody, and then you can register if you want to go to a more functional kind of interview skills, interview tips aspect. I'm sorry, I've just done something strange to my computer. And I think the other key thing with interviews is plan. Fail to plan to fail. It's so important. Don't just rock up and wing it, because you are very, very likely not to get the outcome that you desire. So I think that's really, really important. But I'll send that information. Lovely. Sorry for interrupting there, Sally.
No, that's all right. And just lastly, I was going to say to anyone that if this type of content has been resonating with you, like, please add me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect. And I do have a free event on next week that just happened to be the timing that it's starting next week. So you can grab that link if you want to pop that in the chat box, Nicola, or I'll grab that. So I'm doing a 5-day event next week. It's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings at 6:30 to 7:30 Queensland time, to help people further gain clarity, direction, and then confidence in your career. So if that's something that you guys would love to come along to, you're more than welcome to come along and sign up for that one.
If you just bear with me, and I will grab that link.
That's all right. I did have it here as well, so I don't know where I had it.
Oh, here we go. I've got it here. Sorry. Here we go. Right, that's the link for Sally's 5-day event that I've just popped in there. Pleasure, Alexis. Mary's got to go. Lovely to see you, Mary. Well, I don't know whether I saw you, but great content. Thank you. Sally's put that in. Don't over practice. You'll sound scripted. The hour went quickly. Well, that's always good, Kimo, that you don't feel like it dragged on. Perfect.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Well, thank you so much for hosting this, Nicola. I think it's awesome, the work that you're providing to candidates and doing that interview one next month and getting these people in. It's such a great service. So good on you.
Thank you, and thank you very much for being involved. And actually, Sally, you're, or both of us, a great example of connections getting you places. So I only met Sally the end of last year through another connection who's also called Sally by coincidence, and that's how Sally and I got involved in this. So it's all about making connections and seeing where they take you, and that connection took us here. So that's great. Thank you very much, and everybody, thank you for your lovely comments. And what we'll do is we'll follow up with the event link, the Ask Nicola link, and I'll do it about interview tips to follow up on that. And I think, Sally, before the event started, you were talking about a PDF that you were going to send me.
Yeah, I've got a freebie that I'm happy to give everyone that came today, which is just a worksheet, like a career goals cheat sheet. So really just setting your 2022 career goal and going through some reflection questions. I'm more than happy to, you guys can email that out.
Perfect. Well, we'll email that this afternoon, if you can email it to me. And thank you everybody for coming. If you've got any, and what I'll also include is your contact details, Sally, if anybody wants to follow up with you or ask you any questions. And I think I'm connected to the vast majority of you on LinkedIn, but feel free to send me a connection request. And I think Sally mentioned at the beginning that she'd be delighted to connect with you as well. And thank you very much.
Thank you. See you.
That's great.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Hopefully the sun will shine. Thank you.